Welcome back. 5 men, including a daycare center owner, have been arrested for possession of explicit child abuse images and videos. The men were arrested between the 10th and 14th of February in a joint law enforcement operation. Operation Moonlight saw the police seize computers, hard drives, flash drives, tablets and cell phones containing explicit child pornography material. Now, to talk to us more about this, we have in studio Divisional Commissioner General Dibelo Musikidi. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Please share with us what led to the police in establishing Operation Moonlight.
Good afternoon.
Sure.
And good afternoon to the viewers at home.
Sure.
Over the years, we have been attacked by a lot of persons using child pornography or visiting the sites of child pornography, as they call it. We call it child sexual exploitation because this is the exploitation of children, and they are sharing these images, even making money out of them. We have had Cloud9, if you will recall, some few years ago, which has led to a number of individuals being accosted and sentenced to a lengthy sentences for using children for sexual exploitation and others. So we continue from time to time to introduce a new operation to attend to those issues when we get information about such. We're working in collaboration with other law enforcement agencies in the country and outside in the globe. So we receive notifications and red notices of the individuals that are having this kind of material.
This material that they are using, where are they getting it?
Over the internet. You'll recall there is something that is called dark and deep web. That is where these sites are visited by certain individuals. Some few years, 2 years ago, we arrested some individuals that were using children and filming themselves to sell this type of images. So it is twofold. It's either people will get involved in child sexual exploitation, filming themselves and selling this type of material, and I may say some are even competing on the ages of the children that they are using. And the vulnerability of the children is what they are exploring, that children will not recall what happened to them, and often they will not tell. That is why the investigation will lead to confiscation of either cell phone, laptops, tablets, any material where we will, with the information, will get this type of material.
How difficult is collecting that kind of information, considering that most of what is happening, or how the data or the videos is collected, it usually happens behind closed doors. It's very hard to get that.
It is a very complex case. It is extremely complex. We need to have the intelligence around it. We do have some intelligence operatives that do see when these sites are visited and which individuals are visiting the sites that are using the child pornography or child sexual exploitation material. Every year there is a international forum where these images will be shared and individuals will be identified on the systems. On the IP addresses will be picked up and they will be followed up by the internet families, and they will share it with the law enforcement agencies across the globe.
Is that how then these 5 men were arrested?
That is how they were arrested, but at times during the investigation, some will lead us to where they got the material and will follow up. When you confiscate the gadgets and you investigate them, because we do send them for analysis, then it will lead you to the next suspect. I must say it is not necessarily an organized type of a crime, but these are most of the time single individuals that will find themselves having this type of materials or visiting these sites, or others are even using children as a child pornography. filming and selling these images. So when you go to the site, you must recall that you will be paying a certain amount of data. That is how they are making money out of these images.
I mean, on the back of this arrest, parents have been urged to be vigilant to ensure that their children don't fall prey to these predators on social media, but just also generally speaking on the internet. What kind of steps should parents take to protect their children?
We always encourage parents not to allow their children to be alone with the gadgets that they do not know. They are very smart. Our children are born in this type of era where they are very computer savvy, so they do know how to hide information. We do encourage that parents must talk to the children. They must talk at school. We have partnered with a number of organizations, the Facebook as well, that if this type of activities are picked up, if they are shared, we are able to alert the law enforcement, and we can accost those that will find themselves using this type of material. So the parents, I know it is difficult. I'm a mother too. I do have children. It is difficult to know what they know on the systems, on the computers. Even your 5-year-old, 7-year-old, you know how difficult they are on the system. But we encourage parents to know what their children are doing at all times, because they will get these predators that will prey on them on the systems, on their Facebook. They are even encouraging them to join certain clubs. That is where they are led into this type of activities, and they are abused. But these predators targets very young children. We analyze this type of material every year. More than 60,000 per country will have a set of material to do the analysis. It's very, very young children, children that are on the nappies, toddlers, very young, very small children that are used. But those that are using others to let other children will share this type of material to show the child that, you see, I have done this with your friend. So it's something that can be done. That is how they get children along.
You know, sometimes even without knowing, parents post nude pictures of their children from a very young age, you know, without really knowing who is on the other side, on the receiving end of it. Have you monitored that aspect of this issue?
With the intelligence communities that are working on the deep and dark web, this is where we are picking up this type of issues and will alert parents. You're right to say they take nude pictures of their toddlers, of their babies, innocently, that they are just showing the healthiness of the child, but other people are using that against the children. And remember,
but what are the dangers then? What are the dangers of it? Where could that picture, that innocent picture, land?
They can use that. There is something that is called pseudo, where they can take images and pretend to make sexual activity with a picture of a child, not necessarily doing it with that particular child, but images that are imitating that this is what is happening with this particular child. And we have seen a lot of teenagers, when they realize that their pictures are all over, committing suicide or threatening to commit suicide, because these things happen to them while they are still very, very young and innocent, and they don't know what is happening to them.
There are organizations, NGOs, who are fighting against child pornography, insisting that, you know, we're not getting enough convictions, and these predators are not given the harshest sentences. What do you think is preventing the police from at least tagging these people to the evidence? Is it because of what you mentioned earlier on, that it is purely difficult to collect all of that evidence? But what else are the challenges?
I think so far we have had a collective training, both for the National Prosecuting Authority and the police, and we are continuing to improve the curricula where we are doing the cybercrime investigation and exposing both prosecutors and investigators. And I must say, NPA has came out very, very hard on this type of people, on this type of predators. And the cases are not taking very long, because if evidence is collected and collected timelessly, there is nobody that can deny what is found on his or her computer system. And the cases will not take too long. We have seen good sentences that are coming from Cloud9, and we are continuing. And we believe that if people do share, we can make a very good inroads in curbing this type of crime.
For the public to provide the police with tip-offs, it really begins with educating society about what really is child pornography. Do you think we have been doing that as a country in terms of educating people about it? I mean, it's a crime that is closely monitored. For example, in the US, we always hear of these cases and people being nabbed in connection to child pornography. But I'm not too sure if there is an awareness of what it really is and the extent of the problem.
We do have organizations that are assisting us very much so into making sure that there is empowerment. We're only helping us, including the training of officers and officials on nabbing the suspects that found themselves doing this. We use those type of platforms, but we will continue to partner. We partnered with Facebook recently, so we'll explore that space as well.
Definitely, let's leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. That was General Dibelo Mosikidi, of course, talking to us about child pornography, a very concerning story that has come out about how 5 men, including a daycare center owner, have been nabbed in connection to child pornography. All right, we continue, of course, bringing you an update of the day's top stories. What I do know, of course, is that my colleague Kathy Musasana will be coming up at the top of 6 p.m. to bring you news at Prime. But you're still watching the PM edition of Newsfeed. Do stay with us.